Welcome to Fireside Giants. My name is Alex with my co-host here, Anthony Rivardo. Today, we're talking about if the Giants have a chance, a small, tiny chance, of making the postseason this year. Now, of course, we sit at 3-6. We're a couple of plays away from being a better team. You know, the loss to the Falcons, which Anthony and I were at, was really disappointing. And then, of course, the loss to Washington on the Dexter Lawrence offside. And, you know, there's a couple of plays that could have changed the entire narrative and course of this season. Looking at the playoff picture right now, the Atlanta Falcons currently are a wild card team, and they're 4-4, right? So they have one more win than the Giants, giving them an option, an opportunity, a small window to potentially make it. But the question is, what does their schedule look like? What does their opponent's schedule look like? What does it take for this team to actually have a chance? Before we dive into all of that good stuff, Anthony, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing good, and I'm excited. The Giants are in a bye week right now. They can regroup and get ready for the second stretch of their season. This is going to be determinant of whether or not they can make the playoffs, right? Honestly, the first half of the season, you can probably say, did determine that they won't make the playoffs, but somehow, some way, they're still kind of alive in this race. They still have a chance. Might be a small chance, but they still do have a chance. So it's going to be fun to take a look at them, their schedule, and all of the other teams around the league, what their schedules are looking like and where they are in the playoff standing. Because you got to keep in mind, 7 playoff teams per conference from now on, right? There's 7 teams plus 17 games. There's an extra game for the Giants to go out there and try and win this year. So it's going to be really interesting. This is going to be a playoff race like no other because literally this has never happened before. 17-game season with 7 playoff teams on each conference. Never happened. So it's going to be a playoff race like no other. And the Giants, somehow, some way, they're still alive.
They're gasping at air, man. If they want to have a chance of making the playoffs this year, they need to be healthy the rest of the way. No more injuries to Andrew Thomas, no more injuries to Kenny Golladay or Saquon Barkley or Kadarius Toney, or no more defensive injuries. They have to stay freaking healthy. That is the number one goal. If they can do that, we're going to see a much more efficient and productive offense moving forward. The defense, of course, has not allowed over 20 points in 3 consecutive games. They have been phenomenal as of late. Really, really good job by this Giants defense kind of piecing it together and really simplifying things, especially Patrick Graham realizing I don't need to get too crazy with it. Let's play a simplified defense, and they're doing really, really great disguising coverages, just like they did last year, so hopefully they can maintain that level of execution. But when you're looking at the Giants' schedule, right, this is where things are interesting because the Giants currently have the 27th weakest schedule in the league, in terms of the rest of the season. And Washington has the 11th hardest, Dallas has the 20th, and Philadelphia has the 30th. So Philly has the easiest schedule the rest of the way. They're currently tied with the Giants at 3-6, and they haven't even played yet, so they have 2 games against Philly. But let's take a look at the schedule here. The Giants really can only afford to maybe lose 2 games, maybe 3 if the rest of the other teams lose, but it's unlikely. So right off the bat, we're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a game that most people expect them to lose. They need to win this game, man. I mean, if they won this game, it would really change the course of their season for the better. They need the offense to come out firing. They need to shut down Tom Brady, and all of that is way easier said than done. Tampa Bay is no joke. They're a very, very strong team. Tom Brady finds ways to beat you. And we don't have Eli Manning, the kryptonite. We don't have him ready. So it's unfortunate, but, coming off the bye week, hopefully we'll be a little bit healthier. We'll have Andrew Thomas back. If we do, I heard he was kind of limping around yesterday. So that's definitely not a good indication he will be ready, but he still has a week and a half to do that. And hopefully make an appearance and come back to this team because we desperately need him, Anthony. But, just right after the bye week, what are you thinking about Tampa Bay? Is this a game we can realistically win, or do you think we kind of got to cough this up to a loss already?
Yeah, this is a game that we probably can't realistically win, but, I always say it, any given Sunday, we counted the Giants out this past Sunday versus the Raiders. We said, the Raiders are going to win this one. I think the Giants will put up a good fight, but there's no way that the Giants are actually going to win this game, right? Well, then they went out there and they won it. So we're going to say the same thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. No way that the Giants are actually going to win this game. But you never know, okay? You never really know any given Sunday. The Giants have been playing up to their competition and down to their competition for pretty much the entire season, playing up to the Chiefs, playing down to the Falcons, whatever you want to say, for whichever teams that they're playing. They're playing right at that level. Every game has been close, minus that Rams game. But for the most part, the Giants are hanging in there, playing these games pretty well. So I expect them to put up at least a good fight against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who have been dealing with a lot of injuries, right? So injuries can always derail a team, make them play not as well. Maybe they go into a game on a Monday night and they're just not feeling so good. They're a little hurt, banged up, and the Giants fully energized and rested coming off of a bye week. Maybe they come out there with a couple new plays installed into their playbook and it throws the Buccaneers defense, kind of for a loop. And the Giants go out there, maybe make some big plays. You never know. So realistically, no, I don't think that the Giants will win this game, but I won't count them out completely because we've learned far too many times you can never count the Giants out when they're going up against Tom Brady, right? So going up against Tom Brady on Monday night next week, I'm excited. You all should be excited. Recall last season, yes, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers did go on to win the Super Bowl, but they only beat the Giants by 2 points on a primetime game on a Monday night game last year. So maybe the Giants can be the team that pulls away with a 2-point victory this time around, right? Monday night game, it's the exact same scenario late in the season. Hopefully the Giants can be the team that comes out victorious this time. I think that it is going to be a pretty close matchup, and I'm excited to see it take shape.
Yeah, I mean the Giants are due primetime game. I think they've won one in like 7 or 8 straight. So I mean Tampa Bay is no joke, but Daniel Jones plays better away. He loves that Tampa Bay weather, so hopefully they can come out and maybe give him a run for their money. The defense, of course, is definitely coming off their best stretch of the season, so hopefully they can put that together. But let's for the sake of can the Giants win this game? Let's just say that we're going to predict this to be a loss for them. But then week 12. Philadelphia Eagles, right? Philly is having some serious issues. Defense is decent at times, but their offense has struggled. Jalen Hurts cannot throw to the left side of the field. He basically is useless as a passer. He's running the football. He doesn't really do much that well. The Giants defense should be able to put pressure on him and really lock him down in coverage too. So I'm going to say the Giants win this game week 12 against Philly. What do you think?
I think that's an important game for the Giants, and I think it is one that they'll win. I don't think Jalen Hurts is playing his best football. I don't think the Eagles in general are playing that great of football, and it should be a close one, but it's one that the Giants have to win. When you take a look at their schedule, if they do lose to the Buccaneers like we expect them to, they absolutely 100,000% have to win against the Eagles the following week. Reminder, that will be Michael Strahan's jersey retirement game, so hopefully the Giants go out there a little more motivated than they did for Eli Manning's jersey retirement game since they laid a fat goose egg on that one. So hopefully they go out there, Michael Strahan hypes them up, gives them a good pregame speech. They can go out there, kick the crap out of the Eagles, and get a clutch victory because that's one that the Giants unequivocally, indisputably have to win.
The Giants realistically need to win all of their division games the rest of the year. If they lose one division game, they're pretty much screwed. So they got to beat the Eagles twice, Washington once, and Dallas once. They got to win out. They're 0-2 in the division right now. There's no way you're making the postseason, maybe the wild card, but like at the same time, we're talking about the Minnesota Vikings, the Carolina Panthers, who just signed Cam Newton, Seattle Seahawks, and Russell Wilson's just coming back. San Francisco 49ers are, Jimmy Garoppolo. That offense maybe will get going at some point. I mean, if I was to bet, I'd probably say Seattle's going to take that last wild card spot because once Russ is back, it just changes the entire dynamic of that team. So the Giants really have to win out. That's the ultimate reality for them is they really got to win out. The next game after that is the Miami Dolphins. That's a winnable game, I'd say. They got Jacoby Brissett, Tua, but at the end of the day, like they're kind of inconsistent. Their offense isn't there yet. We get to see a little bit of Jalen Waddle. Their defense is subpar. And then Los Angeles Chargers week 14. That's definitely a game where we can win that game. Their defense has been susceptible, especially on the ground. Offense capable of being elite, but Justin Herbert has had a few games this season where he hasn't played well, and they kind of come in streaks. So if they can really rattle Justin Herbert early, make him throw some bad balls, make him turn the ball over a couple times, the Giants can walk away with a win in that game. And then Dallas week 15, that's a tough one, man. You got to beat Dallas. Like Dallas is like the pinnacle. Every single year, it comes down to a game against Dallas, and we either freaking win or we freaking lose, and it ends up crushing our season or giving us hope. Dallas is that game I circle every year as like the momentum changer. If the Giants can beat Dallas, it changes everything. And then you have Philadelphia again, really tough, right? Philadelphia again. So the Giants always tend to play down to Philadelphia, no matter if their team is better or worse. They always tend to just not play that well. I remember that one game, Saquon Barkley had like a ridiculous amount of yards in the first half, and then they came out and just completely fell apart in the second half. Didn't even target him a couple years back. I think it was 2018. And just every year seems to be Philadelphia. Just
Pat Shurmur, man.
Pat Shurmur. I don't understand that mindset, that logic, but every year it seems like Philadelphia has our number. I really want to beat them really, really badly. Like we are definitely due a couple wins against Philly. Winning both of those games would be huge for us. And the Chicago Bears, definitely a beatable team, great defense, but their offense is very much poor under Justin Herbert. And then you got Washington to finish it off with Taylor Heineke. We should have won that game the first time around. This is a winnable game in my opinion. So if you're looking at it, like The thing is, it's the Giants. Like, they may have a easy schedule on paper, but they play down to opponents all the time. They find ways to lose games. We should have beat Kansas City, should have beat Washington, should have beat the Falcons. The Eagles always present a formidable matchup against us. Miami's a winnable game. The Chargers are no joke. Dallas is no joke. Like, if you look at the schedule and tell me that the Giants can win out here, I don't really believe you. They're going to have to play really good football, and it's going to come down to, can the offense step up, right, Anthony? Like, it's going to come down to the offense. The defense, I trust them. I feel good about them. If the offense isn't putting up 23, 25 plus points, we're going to lose some of these games. We're going to be watching the playoffs from our couch again.
Yeah, that's the likely scenario at this point. Anyway, however, if the Giants do want to try and sneak their way into the playoffs, the offense does have to ramp it up. They're not scoring enough points. They're not making enough explosive plays. They got to go out there. First of all, they got to get healthy. Second of all, they got to start pass protecting better. Third of all, score some more freaking points. You can't do 3 without 1 and 2. So that's the main goal for the Giants in this bye week, I think. Get the offense right. Start practicing and installing some new plays. Get things going when you come out of this bye week. Because honestly, the Giants, realistically, they kind of need to win out, but not exactly. If they lose to the Bucks, that's a given. If they lose to the Chargers, that's like not a huge surprise. But like Alex said, they got to beat Philly, they got to beat the Dolphins, got to beat the Cowboys, Philly again, the Bears, and Washington. So basically, they have to win 6-2. They have to go 6-2 to finish the year. That's not going to be an easy task for the Giants. I would give them a 9-8 record, just barely above 500, and that's where that 17th game really comes into play. But the only way that they're doing that, yes, Alex, is if they start scoring some more freaking points, getting the offense going, and not getting carried game to game to game by their defense. We saw where that got us last year. The defense was carrying us through games last year, and it did go ahead and carry us to a couple of wins. Think about the Seahawks game where we had Colt McCoy at quarterback. Offense did nothing, but the defense carried us to that win. Did we make the playoffs last year? No. We went 6-10. So clearly, defenses can carry you to some wins, but they cannot carry you into the playoffs. You do need an offense that can do something to help your defense out. You don't have to have an elite offense combined with your great defense, but you do have to have something offensively, something to get going. The Giants have not had that. They've just had a very poor offense for years now and just not getting going. So if they really want to make the playoffs, they're not going there unless they fix this offense.
So I'll ask you this, and I'm going to answer it first. What are the 2 main focal points the Giants need to improve upon in the second half of the year for them to be even have an opportunity of making the postseason? In my opinion, it's Jason Garrett's play calling and it's the offensive line's performance. Those 2 factors will determine if this team has a shot at the playoffs. That is straight up what it is. Daniel Jones will react positively, in my opinion, if those 2 things are better. He's had 2 passes in the past 2 weeks out of 54 attempts go beyond 20 plus yards. He's had 3 passes in the past 2 weeks go beyond 15 yards. That is unacceptable for an offense in the NFL. In this era, it is unacceptable for a quarterback to be throwing 3 passes past 15 yards. It is unacceptable. The Giants are just, I mean, I can't even begin to start to tell you about the lies Dave Gettleman has told this fan base. And if you're a Dave Gettleman truther, like I have nothing to say, but at the end of the day, he came out straight up and said, we have more confidence in the offensive line than you do. And he said, we have to play the young guys. And he didn't play Matt Pert, right? He didn't play Matt Pert the first couple of games. We had Nate Solder, the turnstile, playing at right tackle. And then you have this offensive line who is 32nd dead last in pass blocking. Yes, we have injuries, but that just showcases a lack of depth. We had no depth at offensive tackle, absolutely none. Nate Solder is not a depth piece. He is a freaking water boy at this point in his career. He is washed. I just don't really think, I don't consider him depth. I think Matt Pert should have been starting. And I think, Anthony would back that up. And of course, then you look at the guard situation. We had Zach Fulton and Joe Looney. Those 2 guys retired, and then we didn't do anything to really supplement that loss. So I can't believe we didn't draft a single offensive lineman. I'm in the kind of the group that says every single draft you should be drafting an offensive lineman, whether it's in the mid rounds or the late rounds. Just take a shot, someone you can develop. I know they dumped a lot of picks in 2020, and Shane Lemieux and Matt Pert and Andrew Thomas. But again, like, you can't just put all your chips in one basket. You got to have a couple of different options and developmental pieces too. So definitely unfortunate. But those 2 categories, offensive line performance and Jason Garrett, are the ones that need to improve on, or we're going to be just watching, the last couple of games of the season with nothing to, we're going to be looking at the draft order basically.
Yeah, the 2 things that need to improve in my eyes, Not really the offensive line. I feel like the run blocking for the most part has been good in recent weeks. So I'm just going to say pass protection. And I kind of have a 2A and a 2B, right? So 2A is get healthy, but that's a given. Obviously, the Giants need to get healthy, and there's not really that much that they can do about that. They just have to rest up during this bye week, and hopefully their best players come back healthy and better than they were before, right? So my real number 2 is fix the red zone offense. That's the number, like, that actually is number 1 over the pass protection. Now, I understand those two things go hand in hand. They're not getting into the red zone without good pass protection. They're not playing well in the red zone because of poor pass protection, blah, 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 whatever. Jason Garrett's red zone offense is trash. It's an atrocious mess. It shouldn't exist, okay? What he does in the red zone should not exist at the NFL level. And if the Giants really want to start scoring points and winning games, they got to get in the red zone more frequently. And then once they're there, they can't keep settling for field goals or turning the ball over. They have to score touchdowns. Get in the red zone, score touchdowns. You're within 20 yards of the end zone. How do you not score there? So many offenses thrive because they get into the red zone and they're instantly scoring. They're basically guaranteed to score once they're in the red zone. The Giants are never guaranteed to score when they're in the red zone because their play calling in the red zone is just really poor. So, number 1 thing for the Giants, in my opinion, fix the red zone offense, start getting down there and scoring some points when you are down there, and then we could start winning some more games with a better offense.
Yeah, I think that's well said. I think the red zone portion of what you mentioned is definitely a big one. It's just abysmal. From the fade routes to the halfback dives. I would love to see some rub routes with our receivers, some bubble screens with Kadarius Toney, get him into some space, let him work. It's just poor, man. Like any Twitter GM could go out there and give you a couple plays that would work better than when Jason Garrett is dialing up. Throwing fade routes to Sterling Shepard, our smallest receiver, is just not going to cut it any longer. And running 3 back-to-back halfback dives isn't going to cut it any longer. We need to get more creative. We need to use, go steal some plays from the Rams, man. Go look how they use Cooper Kupp and use Kadarius Toney and Sterling Shepard exactly like that. Guaranteed you're going to get more production. It's unfortunate, but just the way it is. And Jason Garrett needs to improve there, or we are going to be once again calling for his head by the second week after the bye. But guys, make sure to subscribe below on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. As always, much love. Enjoy the rest of this week. We have the bye week for the next week and a half, so we'll be talking about some stuff, discussing this team leading up to. Maybe we'll do a little film review, as I mentioned yesterday, from the Raiders game. The defense played so well. I think it's worth taking a look at some of their better plays, Quincy Roche and McKinney, and the interceptions and the strip sacks, seeing what they did and accomplished. So I'm excited to take a look at that too. But as I said, have a great day. Enjoy this bye week. Enjoy Sunday without a Giants loss. Enjoy, we can sit there, get a little healthier, and hopefully enjoy some Giant wins. But we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Giants episode and appreciate you guys tuning in.